There's another program that you've done, getting back to some of the milestones and things that you've done in the diving industry that are unique. And I would love to see this program resurrected and promoted, and that's the Diver Reflex program. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, for years, I got extremely interested in freediving, and of course developed a lot of the techniques I was going to use when I was down in the Cayman Islands for the year. My previous wife and I did a lot of freediving, and I used the techniques to train her in freediving, and she got to be an exceptional freediver. She would easily make the reef in 70, 75, 80 feet of water and stay there for 4 minutes. And I've had people that were scuba diving, just the sport divers, they'd be just amazed. They'd follow her around with their watch, watching and see how long she stayed underwater. And at that time, I was free diving to 100 feet and doing a lot of technical work, but it's not by willpower that you do that, because we all have the diving reflex in us, because we were 9 months prior to being born, we're marine mammals. So we all have it, but it has to be developed, because way long in our history of physiology, it's out of our mental realm to be able to recall the conditions you need to do that type of diving. But we all have it, and it can be developed. It was called the diver's reflex. And so I spent quite a few years teaching that, and went all around the country teaching it and giving seminars on it, where I'd take people that could just go to the bottom of the pool for maybe 15 seconds or so, and then they'd have to come back up. At the end of the 2-day course, I would have them staying there for well over a minute, sometimes 2 minutes, underwater comfortably. But what you have to do is call the reflex up that slows your heart rate, shuts the metabolic system down where you burn less oxygen and produce less carbon dioxide. So it's truly a reflex that all marine mammals have, and divers have it too, but they have to develop it. Most people can't develop it by just scuba diving. But yeah, that was something that I did, and I really enjoyed it. And by the way, you talk about my son Ron. I have a video of him picking up a depth gauge at 100 feet and then just slowly swimming back to the surface. I got this beautiful video of the entire dive, down and up.
Wow.
And I'll have to share that with you sometime too. Yeah.
That's great. Is there any particular sea story that you'd want to share with us at this time? We're gonna do more interviews later with more sea stories, and we'll do it with an audience,
Yeah.
But anything in particular you can think of?
Yeah, there's one. In fact, I mentioned it to somebody the other day. At one of the diving safety seminars that we had, that I'd conducted at Bellevue Community College, did many of them, about 4 or 5 years worth. And you were up there to them, and all of the guys from Portland, the guys from Vancouver, BC would all come down and participate. Shorty Shaw and Russ would come down, do the ice diving seminar, and bring their winter strings with them.
Yeah.
And so it was that one of these, and we always had a banquet Saturday night, and then we had sea storytelling contests. And of course, I think that was a imagination that we all conjured up sometimes sitting around, us diving instructors thought that'd be a great idea to tell sea stories. Had to start traditionally with the "This is no doo-doo," which is the way Bear Claw would always start his, because he said he didn't swear.
He didn't swear.
So he said it was no doo-doo, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, this was a twofold gotcha on me. So Jerry Gray, who is the top sea storytelling guy in the entire country, won it I don't know, 4 times in a row
Yeah. Well, he could take any story, any boring story, and make it funny.
and make a sea story out of it. Well, Jerry brought me a present, and it was a beautifully chromed cowbell, and it had on a plaque that was taped over, and he presented it to me. He said, you can't open this until I tell you. So he got up and made a little presentation, and he said, I've given Spence this bell, and I stuffed some paper up there to keep the clapper quiet. So he said, what I want Spence to do is stand up, pull that paper out, and just ring that bell so everybody can hear this cowbell. So I pulled out the paper, and I rung the bell, and nothing happened. And I looked inside, and there was no clapper in there. And so he said, pull the tape. So I pulled it off, and the inscription read, a day without a dive is like a bell without a clapper.
I remember that. I remember that.
Anyhow, the whole place broke up.
Yeah.
Then Warren Buck got up, and he had a clamshell. And he said, well, when I was diving, he said, I saw this clamshell, and I was about to pass by it. It was sitting on a rock, and it began to talk to me. He said, a talking clam. So I went back, and I got myself positioned so I could hear it, and it said, do you know Spence Campbell? And he said, yeah, I know Spence. He said, well, I'll tell you a secret about Spence. Okay? He said, Spence doesn't have a basic skin and scuba diving card. He just has all instructor cards. So, he said, I'm presenting you with this clamshell, and inside, Warren had given me a basic skin and scuba card, which I still have.
Yeah. Well, one thing, Spence, that I would like to share with everybody is you have been one of the most influential and productive mentors in diving in the Northwest. And there's an awful lot of people, and I can tick off a lot of names: George Axtell, John Erickson, myself, and there's many, many, many others, hundreds.
Green team.
Yeah, who have been inspired by you,
Gone on to do great things.
mentored by you. You've been. I get choked up thinking about it. But my buddy for a long time.
Long time. Well, they were exceptional people. They really were.
Yeah.
And they, you could see things in them, and you knew that they were the people that would do the most contribution to diving, and they were wonderful to work with. They were great people. And people, they inspired me as much as I might have inspired them.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's all about. Growing people. That's my philosophy in life. If you can grow people, you're going to win.
Yes, you are.
You might win broke, but you're going to win.
Yeah. Yeah, diving is such a what do you call it, monetary reward system, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But in the heart, the best system there is.
Absolutely.
I don't regret a day I've spent in diving, even when I was out of air.
He was out of here, yeah. Yeah. Well, Spence, thank you. This will be the first of maybe some more. Well, there will be some more interviews, sea stories,
cool.
and stuff, and
Try to see
anything
if
we
I can remember them.
Well, that's what it's all about, and a little tribute to our buddy Jim Willoughby. Who
Yes, Jim was a great
shared.
guy.
You've got your scrapbooks and everything, and those. I'm going to take Jim Willoughby's old fallen apart scrapbook and try to put it together and make it look as good as yours.
Hey, great. If I can help, let me know.
Oh, I'm glad you have. All right, my friend.
Still volunteering.